Three-time Olympic pairs champion Irina Renina harshly criticized the current model for developing women's figure skating in Russia. Speaking to Sport24, she stated that the enormous government investments in young athletes are unjustified due to the extremely short lifespan of their careers at the top level. The main problem, according to Renina, is the popularity of ice skating television shows, where skaters begin to seek easy money as young as 18. This is a question not only for the athletes, but also for the government. Our country invests enormous amounts of money in girls who are already old ladies at 18. We always say that an athlete should be a role model, but here, the best skaters are skating on shows and earning money after 2 years of their careers. Renina believes that the current reality means that promising athletes spend only a few years at the highest level, failing to fully realize the potential they invested years of training and significant resources into. I actually feel sorry for these girls. It's good that at least Channel 1 has switched from KVN to figure skating, and they're now casting them there. Despite this, a few years of career is too short for athletes with such incredible talent. We are not training figure skaters for shows, but for a professional career, Renina lamented. As striking examples of short-lived careers, Renina cited Yulia Lipnitskaya, the 2014 Olympic team tournament champion, who distinguished herself at a young age but then retired from active competition; Evgenia Medvedeva, a two-time world and European champion and 2018 Olympic silver medalist, whose top career also proved comparatively short-lived. 2022 Olympic silver medalist figure skater Alexandra Trusova will benefit from collaborating with French choreographer Benoit Richaud, two-time Olympic medalist and honored coach of Russia, Alexander Julin told RIA Novosti. A RIA Novosti source previously reported that Trusova and Richaud had reached a preliminary agreement to collaborate on choreographing programs for next season. Why not? Richaud is a good specialist, he choreographs programs well, and this could lead to something new. It certainly couldn't be worse. He has a unique vision, he hears music in a unique way. His signature style, unlike others, is always evident, Julin said, assessing the prospects for Trusova's collaboration with Richaud. Richaud is known for his work with two-time European champion Adam Schiahamfa of France. The choreographer has also collaborated with Russian figure skaters. In the summer of 2025, he held a choreography camp with Evgeny Semenenko and Sofia Muravyova, and had previously worked with former world champion Elizaveta Tiktamasheva. At the 2026 Olympics, Richaud attracted attention by performing Kiss and Cry with skaters from different countries, constantly swapping national team jackets. Alexandra Trusova not only decided to return to the sport, but to do so with maximum fanfare. This development seems extremely unusual given the context. Back in the winter, RIA Novosti reported that Trusova was returning under the guidance of Terry Tutberidze. The legendary coach's staff is known not only for its unique training methods, but also for its utilitarian approach to choreography. For many years, the duo of choreographer Daniel Glickengauz and Terry Tutberidze herself have been responsible for the programs, and the quality of their creations has never been in question. Their unique choreographed works have brought their students numerous victories. And then working with another choreographer. It might seem like a nonsense, but upon closer examination, it all seems quite logical. In fact, Tutberidze's staff had already collaborated with Richaud in some capacity recently. Nika Egids won this season's European Championships with his programs. Overall, choosing the French specialist seems like an excellent move. According to RIA Novosti, Alexandra herself initiated the collaboration, and she had been eyeing it for some time. During the downtime, Russian figure skating has made significant progress, and even legends like Trusova have some catching up to do. While it's hard to say we're experiencing a new ultra-C boom, a realistic assessment reveals that since Alexandra's days, the number of difficult jumps in Russian women's singles has actually decreased. It would seem like a win-win situation for the Russian rocket, who has always been renowned for her quads. Even now, having only just begun to get back into a full training rhythm, Alexandra has already brought back her most prized quad, the Lutz, to her arsenal. But in reality, things aren't so clear-cut. Firstly, the success of the rest of the program, or rather, programs, will play a significant role. Even the Milan Olympics, which didn't feature many ultra-C jumps for women, demonstrated that quads and triple axels are only worthwhile if the rest of the program is executed cleanly. Secondly, the perception of both figure skating as a whole and skaters like Trusova has changed over the past few years. We've been saying for years that the ISU dreams of programs and components dominating the technical aspects. Many of the latest initiatives by figure skating officials only confirm this, and plans to convince the global public of the critical importance of implementing technical and artistic programs in place of short and free skates are cementing this trend. The ISU is sending a clear signal to skaters and coaches. If they can't achieve a high-quality balance between technique and programs, which only a few people in the world achieve, they will choose the latter. The great paradox of a federation struggling with a sharp decline in audience engagement is that instead of trying to make the perception of the sport simpler and at the same time more objective, they are resorting to total subjectivity. And, of course, they expect to be overwhelmed by success. For those figure skaters who made a name for themselves through jumping technique, this signal is clear. Seek at least a semblance of balance at any cost, or you'll likely lose. The most striking example of such a transformation is also the most flamboyant modern jumper, Ilya Malinin. In just a few years, he's gone from a pure jump killer to a skater whose routines are fascinating to watch. Moreover, Ilya achieved this in a far from typical way. Instead of smooth movements and sophisticated choreography, he focused more on acrobatics and, to a certain extent, shock value, and this original approach has yielded results. It's becoming clear that Trusova, if her plans to return not only to Russian sport but also to international competitions are truly solid, needs to follow a similar path, otherwise she risks becoming irrelevant. Their goal for the future isn't simply to develop a good program to solve local problems, but to infuse herself with a new vision and understand how to discover new facets of her talent and reach a new level of perception in the eyes of audiences and judges. It seems that right now, there aren't many choreographers in the world who could handle this task better than Richaud. Firstly, he is undoubtedly an excellent choreographer. This is confirmed by his awards. A couple of years ago, the ISU officially recognized him as the best choreographer of the year, and the substantial waiting list for him to sign up. Benoit currently choreographs programs for nearly half of the world's top skaters. And this demand isn't out of nowhere. Secondly, his approach is distinct from others. However, one shouldn't exalt Benoit above other equally talented choreographers. It's not about explosive, previously unseen movements or anything comparable, but about his very vision of what a program should be. Renowned Russian ice dance coach Alexei Gorshkov spoke to RIA Novosti about how Richaud's approach differs from others. This season, Alexei Gorshkov's students Vasilisa Kaganovskaya and Maxim Nekrasov are skating a free dance based on Benoit's program. This program helped them win silver at the Russian championships. His style is laconic, Gorshkov said. We discussed the Russian style of ice dancing at length with Benoit. We came to the conclusion that it's the abundance of arm swings and the constant need to run somewhere. A permanent aortic rupture. The perfect example of this, in my opinion, is Natalia Bestiminova on Buchan. I also choreographed in this style. Benoit told me he learned from my programs and gave me many examples. And now it turns out I'm learning from him. He believes that a program shouldn't be overloaded with unnecessary details, it should be stylish and neat. And after seeing what he did for Vasilisa and Maxim this season, I can say he succeeded. I won't throw around the big words masterpiece, but this approach definitely works in modern ice dancing. One choreographer familiar with Richaud's work formulated the essence of the French specialist's work in a little more detail for RIA Novosti. His approach is to create an aesthetic tailored to each client. He doesn't create cohesive, complete stories or complex plots, but in terms of the beauty of execution, everything is pure and sufficiently detailed. Moreover, Benoit's strength lies in his ability to find an approach to almost anyone. Even if you come to him and ask him to choreograph something for you, he'll do it and it will be beautiful. Based on all of the above, one can conclude that Richaud excels in a kind of universal creation of beauty in its laconic form, unburdened by deep history. Moreover, remarkably, he creates a turnkey, handling virtually every detail from costume to hairstyle. Restraint, style, and precision contrast with what Russian fans are accustomed to from our choreographers. The same Kaganovskaya Nekrasov free dance was perceived by many as a breath of fresh air and an imported product, even though the lyrical theme to Ezio Basso's Rain, in Your Black Eyes, is no longer surprising in the broad sense. It's curious, incidentally, that Kaganovskaya Nekrasov also didn't come to Richaud for a separate program, which specialists in Russia would have handled just fine. The goal of this collaboration was to expand a creative expansion and self-discovery in a new style, which could become their ultimate weapon in the future. Trusova likely wants to follow the same path. But there's another reason for Richaud's popularity worldwide. It can be informally called judging, and can be broken down into several facets. First, his programs are easily understood by judges worldwide. A quick Renovasti survey of figure skating judges showed that the majority react enthusiastically to the name Richaud on the list of choreographers. Perhaps it's because of his ethereal aesthetic, uncluttered with unnecessary details. Such programs are easier to read, which is especially important when you're sitting on the judging panel for half a day, and are judged with greater pleasure. Second, working with Richaud provides the skater with extensive networking opportunities. For this reason, many athletes dream of attending his training camp in Italy. The thing is, prominent figure skating judges also attend, and you can chat with them. Of course, you won't be able to reach any future agreements. But establishing personal contact and hearing recommendations from people whose assessments could soon determine your place in the tournament standings could prove no less valuable. It turns out that working with Richaud could become a crucial strategic project for Trusova going forward. And if everything works out, it will further demonstrate how serious her intentions are.